How are you? All right. Well, today we're going to talk about one of the most important, most dangerous things in any industry, and that's falls. Falls in general industry. And I'm Mike Dudek. I'm the owner of MJD Safety Services, and we supply affordable safety compliance for small businesses. And my phone number is 732-895-2714. And we're going to talk about fall protection in general industry today, like I said a minute ago. And falls are the leading killer in pretty much every industry out there, except for driving, except for motor vehicle accidents. So it's very important. So OSHA came up with a new rule for walking and working surfaces for general industry. And that new rule is 29 CFR subpart D as in dog, 1910.23. And it's the new rule for walking and working surfaces for fall protection in general industry. My name is Mike Dudek. I am an occupational safety and health consultant. I am the owner of MJD Safety Services. My background is I am a millwright by trade, a journeyman millwright, and I'm also a welder as well. And I got my start in safety. And a millwright, in case you don't know, by the way, in case anybody doesn't know, is a heavy industrial mechanic. We build, repair, and maintain heavy industrial processes, conveyors, elevators, presses, a lot of piping, a lot of material like that, and any kind of material handling equipment. I got my start in safety back in the 1990s. As a millwright in a General Motors plant in Linden, New Jersey, we used to have to go, and I worked in the paint department. We used to have to go into 450-degree paint ovens. Well, when I would come out of these ovens, me and also everybody in my crew, we'd come out of these ovens feeling terrible for about a week after working in these 450-degree paint ovens. And I started questioning the union about it. Why do I feel like this? Why do we all feel like this? And partially because I really showed an interest, and partially because some of them wanted to either placate me or shut me up. They sent me out to Detroit to become a trainer. Well, those that wanted to shut me up didn't. They fired me up. From there, I ended up starting the safety committee in the paint department. I ended up being, and from there I got my associates in adult education and my bachelor's in occupational safety and health, and I've been doing it ever since. And if you ever hear that saying, if you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's me. And I do love what I do. So, and I've been doing it ever since, and it is a very rewarding career for me. We're going to let's start off talking about the old part of the standard. And this part still exists. And walking working surfaces 1910 subpart D, 1910.22a. This section applies to all permanent places of employment except where domestic mining or agricultural work is performed. Measures for the control of toxic materials are considered outside the scope of this section. Well, simply put, this section only does not deal with mining. Mining has MSHA, their own set of rules, or agricultural work. They have a whole separate set of rules. And it doesn't deal with toxic materials, toxic or chemical materials. There's a whole section called hazard communication, and that has to deal with toxic materials, and that's 1910.1200. And we're talking today about walking working surfaces, subpart D, and 1910.22. And this section applies to all permanent places of employment except mining and agricultural work, and it is only performed. And it also does not deal with toxic materials, and that's important. Slips, trips, and falls. They cause the majority of general incident accidents, 15% of all accidental deaths, and more fatalities than any other causes than motor vehicle accidents. Like I said, falls are the number 1 causes of fatalities in both general industry and construction. They are also the #1 cause of top 10 most cited standard by OSHA. OSHA standards for walking and working surfaces apply to all permanent places of employment. And like I said before, except for mining and agriculture work is performed. Housekeeping. Housekeeping is very important. Housekeeping could be a problem not only for working surfaces, slips, trips, and falls, but it also can be a problem for fires. Poor housekeeping is one of the major causes of fires in general industry, and it can also be one of the biggest problems for other sanitary issues. Accidents like rodents or vermin. And housekeeping also adds to a company's efficiency. Ever try to work on in General Motors? Let's go back to my background. In General Motors, the production operators always had their areas were nice and clean as dry because they had a controlled environment. And because this way they could work more efficiently. And everything is within hand's reach, no more than 1 or 2 steps, because it saves time and gives them better production. And it's got to be maintained as clean and dry as possible. Also, access egress is very important in case of a fire. And housekeeping also, if you need to get out in case of a fire, most humans, in case of an emergency, we tend to look towards the horizon. That's why all your exit lights are up on the top. Your exit signs are high, and they want you to put fire extinguishers high because most humans tend to look towards the horizon in case of an emergency. And that a lot of times you're not looking down when you have the possibility, and that will add to something to trip on. So access, egress paths have to be kept clean. General aisles and passageways also be kept clear. Move obstructions that could create hazards. Again, access, egress, very important. Permanent aisles and passageways, very important. And aisles must be sufficiently wide where mechanical handling equipment is used. I don't know how many times I've seen videos of guys in fork trucks backing out with a load from one pile to another and hitting into the shelves behind them and knocking everything down. And it's very important.